and welcome. Alex here from Black Sheep IT Consulting. Today we are going to have a look at another utility from the good people at Endo IT, Hungarian-based boutique consulting company. And the good people from Endo have been kind enough to share with me the good news that there is a new Siebel Utility App available from them, as described on GitHub here, a lightweight full stack application which enables interaction with Siebel Server Components easily. Now this is available on their GitHub channel for free. It's a limited edition, so they have a full version out there, which we also can witness in this video, thanks to the kindness of Endo IT. So I've started with the trial environment that you can find here on GitHub and follow the installation. So it requires Node.js to be installed and PowerShell. So obviously this is only for Windows machine at the time. And it's a Vue.js application that runs, Vue.js runs the front end and Node.js runs the back end, which then connects to the Siebel environment using Server Manager and Zookeeper directly. So it calls Server Manager, so the machine where you install the backend must also have a Server Manager command line, so it's probably a Siebel server machine. So my machine fits this description, so I've installed the thing. So I'm ended up with a shortcut on the desktop where we can use to invoke it. And once it's invoked, it launches into PowerShell the backend and the front end. So this is running in the background, so just keep it there. And I can access the application using a browser connecting to the front end server, well, running on my local host, the port number there specified during installation. And the first task I would have to do once you log into this application is set up your environment. So I've set up my environment already, so I'm editing it so we can see it has a name, it has a Siebel username and password to do the server manager connection. So you also need to point out which server manager it should use. You have the full path here. Also the gateway information and the enterprise information. It's probably for the server manager connections. So everything here is on localhost, but you can use network host names, of course. And it also requires the Zookeeper host port number and the Zookeeper, the registry user and registry password. And you can add multiple enterprises here, multiple environments, and assign them a different color. And then once you save these changes, you can select the enterprise you want to work on in that drop-down here. So the application is quite simplistic. So you have a banner on the side, which you can collapse, expand like a menu. You can go dark mode if you wish. And so there's three menu types. So first is server configuration, and this is the trial version. So there's these the trial information all over it. So for example, creating a snapshot of the environment, that is a feature only available in the commercial version. We will see that later. What does server configuration read? It reads the enterprise parameters, and well, the trial does not allow updates, but from here you could update those parameters. Each panel also includes a very quick search. So if you search for JVM, for example, then it filters. Also has rows per page, so you can see all, and navigation. Then it has a panel for the named subsystems, the name daemon subsystems, and that's interesting because it's like a flat list of all parameters across named subsystems, and you can select your parent. So Let's see, that's Siebel Query Dispatch, for example. You can select one or more parents, and then it's filtered by the parent, so you can only see the parameter which have been set. And there's of course a search as well. Same for the component definitions. There's a flat list for parameters, and you can filter again by the parent. So let's say the call center object manager, and show all. So this apparently is a list of parameters that have been defined. It's not all the parameters, so I think it leaves out the empty parameters. I'm not sure about that. Okay, so that's component definitions, and if you scroll further down, you have server parameters. Well, obviously filtered by the server parent. I only have one server here. And the components, so you can select your server and the parent component or do a search. And again, in the full version, you can also update the parameters from here. So nice stuff here. And the server management page is taking a live look at the environment. So you get, for every server, you get the component. And in the trial version, it's not enabled to update anything or invoke the actions. Well, the actions are kind of self-explaining, or start, stop the component, show details probably. We'll see that in the full version, and kill the component probably. And the log level is very interesting. So you can actually sort this by log level. So this is when you have a log level set on any of the log levels of the application. It comes up with kind of a indicator. So this is highest log level. Cannot set it here in the trial, but you could in the full version. When you expand that component, it expands the event log levels and shows which one have been set to value greater than 0 with the search possibility. So I can see all the event log levels that I've set previously in a server manager session, and in the full version I can increase, decrease the value right here. And it's very nice to actually have a list. Let's say as an administrator, I would like to know, okay, where's the log level really high? And that information is right there. Cool. Let's see the next panel. The third menu is the compare configuration page, which well, allows me to take to select live systems or snapshots. So I can, well, I only have one live system, so it doesn't really make sense. And the compare, select the parameter type, for example, compare, let's say enterprise parameters, but the compare button is gray. So in the next few minutes, I'll switch over to the full version, and then we'll explore that. So that's what the trial version gives you, which is again free on GitHub. So try it out. And if you want the full version, you can of course contact Endo IT for pricing and any other information. Okay, so here we are back in the second part of this demonstration of Endo IT's Siebel Utility App. I've installed the full mode. So we have seen the trial mode before, which is free, and the full mode is not free. And thanks to Endo IT, I'm able to demonstrate the full mode here. So I start in the server configuration page, which we have already seen. So not much change here from the search capability standpoint. I still see, a lot of information. For example, name the subsystems. I can search for the DBG service, the debug server. It's a development environment, so it has the debug server set up, and there's max tasks set to 30. And before I make any changes, let me take a snapshot. So a snapshot will actually run for a few moments and read the entire set of things that this utility reads into a JSON file. So it gives you the file name, and you can investigate that file yourself. So there's a snapshots folder, and those JSON files are plain text. So this is the information that the application uses internally. Well, as you can see, parameters for components and so forth. And you can imagine, of course, that this is very useful for comparison purposes. Once you made changes and then compare to the snapshot or compare two snapshots in time, that is really a killer feature. So let me now, after taking a snapshot, I click a parameter and now can update it. It's no trial version anymore. So let's change max tasks to, let's say, 40. Save this. And funny enough, since I'm on the same machine, I quickly saw the server manager pop up. So it executes a server manager command to do that, and has hopefully succeeded. I don't know yet, but I'm quite sure it did. I could repeat the same effort for parameters of component definitions. So let's do one. Let's search the call center object manager, max tasks, parameter, and change it to 40 as well. So that's a component definition parameter. Of course, it will be inherited to the component if inheritance is not broken. Then we have server parameters and components on the server. I will not update any of those. So I've updated two parameters. Let's remember that for later. And now for server management, we see it's literally all about the component event level. So I see my call center object manager has event level set to 3. Yeah, actually I have to click it and you see it's set to 3. That means at least one event is set to 3, and 3 is the highest value across all events. I can validate that by expanding and see EISQL adapter is indeed set to 3. So there could be more events here in this list. There's only one. So let's set the log level back to 1 for the entire component. So you drag the log level, you click the button, and well, we can see the server manager command being run by PowerShell. So now the log level is set to 1 for each and every component. Now, sorry, for each and every level. So this is, I need to refresh that possibly. So let's do it. And let's find the call center object manager. Yeah, there's no event which kind of stands out currently. So I can only now set it for the entire set of events, not single events here, probably. Maybe that's a future version. And the buttons to start the component, stop the component, list component tasks, start component task for batch components probably, and kill the component are here. In this version, I could not really make out where I can see the state of the component, but maybe that's in a future version. Here. And so I'm not sure if starting a component that's already started will do any harm. Let's just try it. So I think there was an error message there, so it didn't succeed. And let's find a component which I started previously, the eService object manager. So let's just quickly go to server manager and confirm that. Yeah, so eService object manager is online. It's on manual start, so I started it manually, and I will now try to stop it. So it issues the command, and I think I've just seen shutting down here popping up. So let's just use the real server manager, and indeed it's shutting down. Yeah. So that works fine. And now let's see the comparison, because the trial version doesn't allow us to try that. So we can compare live snapshot to live or snapshot. Let's take snapshot to compare from, and it lists the snapshots you have taken. Now the last snapshot here was the one I took in this demo, and for live I'll select any profile. So you can compare two live environments if you want to. And after that you select the type of parameter. So you have those 5 options here. Let's start with enterprise parameters. No, I didn't change anything there. Let's start with named subsystems. So on that level I can now click compare, and it comes back pretty quickly with a searchable list of named subsystems, which I can expand on both sides, but they're all the same here. So that check mark is also a filter, show me things which are exactly the same. I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in what's different. So that's the middle button. So that's toggle buttons. And once I select only differences, I see that in the snapshot, max tasks for the DBG SVC subsystem was 30, and here it's 40. Okay. Well done. Let's try component definitions. I made some changes there. Okay, it's ready to compare. Takes a little bit longer because reads from the live system. I guess comparing 2 snapshots is maybe faster. It comes back. And again, if I toggle those buttons, then it should show only the differences. And indeed it does. So the component definition for call center object manager shows the difference in maximum tasks. So yeah, that's a very great thing to have in the comfort of your browser, a modern application. Check it out with Endo IT on GitHub and contact them for the full version. Thanks for watching. Take care and bye-bye.